What is luxury? Certainly, it cannot be this. No, this is too plain, too boring, too quiet. Certainly, this could be a luxury. Traveling around the city for a nominal fee. I think this just might be luxury.
You know, before I decided to embark on living a more slower, softer, more luxurious life, I always thought that luxuries were only the big things, you know, the trips and the bags or the purses or services. That is what I clocked as luxury. And because that is what I clocked as luxury, I often found myself feeling like I missed the mark, as if I didn't, I wasn't living a luxurious life. And I was always striving, right? I was always grinding so that I could get the thing that would finally make me feel like I was living a luxurious life. But now that I've intentionally decided to live this luxurious life, I'm discovering, and I have discovered, that there are so many luxurious things in life already, and we don't clock them as luxury because we've been taught that it's only this, right? Like, we've been taught by capitalism. I've spoken about this before. We've been taught by capitalism and this sort of American dream rhetoric that luxury is the trip, the car, the house, the apartment, the we've been taught that that is a luxurious life, and if you have missed that mark, you are struggling. But the thing is that luxury is actually comfort. That's really what luxury is. We have totally become enmeshed in and confused in this world of buy and purchase and do and go, that we don't understand. We've lost the idea of what luxury means. When I have the ability to go to a park on a Wednesday afternoon, when I have the ability to wake up slower, and have a rhythm, a spacious rhythm, and spacious meaning I have time in my day to create and rest and move slower, right? That is comfortability. Notice nothing I said had anything to do with money or a material item. Now, do not get it twisted. I completely love money. Yes, love money. I don't just like money. I love money. I love money. I love clothes and I love trips and I love the experiences. But what was happening was my brain, because I only clocked luxury as those things that I mentioned, the you know, the material, because I only saw luxury as being that, I was constantly running up a hill, hustling and grinding for that. So therefore, my brain, right, my reticular activating system, this is the part of your brain that filters out. Let's say you think about a red car, you know what I mean? And you read something about a red car, and then you start seeing red cars or you start researching the red cars. Well, because your brain filters out anything else that isn't a red car and brings it to you. So here's the thing. I was looking for the luxury, thought that I didn't have it, and I didn't have it. But when I discovered that I can move slow, and that's a luxury. When I discovered, let's say I was still working at a 9 to 5 job for you, you have the ability to get up and watch a YouTube video, a phone, a lap. You have access to that. You're here watching me because there is some comfortability attached to that. That's a luxury, right? It's comfortable to sit and watch a YouTube video. And everyone that's watching this can agree. No one can say, oh, but that's like, I don't have that. I don't have this. I don't have that. And that's what we do. We'll say, well, that person has more than me. That person has access to this and that and the other. And what you're doing is telling your brain that you don't have something. And when you tell your brain that you don't have something, that you don't have a luxury, that you don't have access, it is going to reject anything that actually will bring luxury to you. It's very interesting. I find it incredibly interesting that once I started to clock the simple, quiet luxuries in my life, that more opportunities, more money, more gifts, more favors came to me. Do you see what I'm saying? Then when I was striving for it, when I was ignoring all of the things that I have to be grateful for. Am I saying that I don't want the stuff? No, I'm not saying that, but we can honor both. We can honor, you know what? I want this. I want this thing. And wow, like look at what I have. Look at what I have access to. Look at the freedom that I have. Even if you're working a 9 to 5 job, there are many countries in which there are not as many liberties as, say, America. You could be watching from any country, but start clocking the quiet luxuries. And what will happen is more. This is what we call shifting the identity. I'm doing a little bit of teaching, even though this is also supposed to be my personal testimony. But when we're shifting to identities, you know how people will say, especially in manifestation community, you can only have what you already have. The paradox is that you have to act as if you are wealthy or act as if you are rich, because that the paradox is you can only attract what you want when you already feel that you want it and when you're not so attached to it. And then that's when more comes. I'm telling you, it's true. It's unequivocally true. Unequivocally true that you can only have what you already have. I already have so many luxuries. I do. And do I have those moments where I'm like, oh, but I don't have this? Yeah, absolutely. That comes up for me. And I'm like, whoa, it's okay. You have to talk yourself down. But quiet luxury is more than just a shirt that doesn't have a brand name. That's a brand that doesn't have a brand name, right? You know how they say quiet luxury, and they're like, well, yeah, because they're wearing a brand name shirt, but they don't have the name, the logo on there, right? That's quiet luxury. But quiet, simple luxuries are the ones that you already have that you've underappreciated. The reason why I consistently show up in nature is because it aligns me to the frequency of already having and fullness. And by the way, science shows that our nervous systems feel safer in nature. Why? Because our ancestors, when they were on the prairie hunting, right, or when they were just living, they wanted to see the trees, the land, so they knew they were safe, that they weren't being, chased by an animal, right? So epigenetics is the study of gene expression. I won't get too scientifically, but and your environment. So that means even though you're not living in that kind of environment where an animal could be chasing you and your nervous system may not feel safe and you may not feel safe, we still inherently have that belief that if we see trees, or that feeling in our nervous system, right? Um, that's been passed down, that if we see nature, then we're safe, then our nervous systems are safe. So this is why it's important to get out in nature, the luxury of nature, right? And I've learned that. And if I miss too many days, I'll be honest, it's really every day. Not every day that I'll just go to the park, but if I miss a day, I my nervous system tends to be more erratic if I skip out on this quiet luxury. If I go shopping, whatever, right? If I go shopping and instead of immersing myself in natural luxury, my nervous system is going to miss it. It's going to be erratic. And the same for you. The same for you. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in me and my work and how I help anxious and overwhelmed women to move towards lives of softness, safety, and a slower lifestyle, I've linked everything below. Also, I encourage you to join our Soft Wealth Society membership. It is a membership where we're exploring and learning how to live softer lives in a capitalistic environment and society, and we're moving away from that paradigm. So I encourage you to go ahead and check that out. Again, I've linked everything below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.